Why did every complaint about him arrive in daylight? Yet no one acted until girls stopped coming home. A sunlit school pickup zone. Parents waiting. One space never fills. 11:42 a.m. Unease hiding in plain sight. The bell rang. Laughter spilled into the parking lot. One backpack stayed on the curb, untouched, while traffic rolled past like nothing mattered. In broad daylight, silence can be louder than screams. Lucas Whitman wasn't a shadow. He was visible church volunteer, fundraiser smile, the man teachers trusted with hallway passes. He knew schedules, not secrets. He knew who walked alone after lunch. Susan Miller's absence wasn't a midnight mystery. It began at noon. Her last sighting came with witnesses, cameras, and a sun high enough to erase excuses. Yet the report stalled. Too soon, they said. She probably wandered. Detective Aaron Holloway stood outside the school office, watching parents sign forms while Detective Maya Reynolds scanned a corkboard of flyers. All daytime faces, all hopeful smiles. Officer Thomas Keene remembered something small. A friendly wave that didn't match the tension in Lucas's eyes. Dr. Natalie Brooks didn't talk about monsters. She talked about access, patterns of permission, how charm lowers alarms faster than force ever could. If nothing violent happened at night, why were the disappearances treated like after-dark crimes? Olivia Park didn't describe fear. She described rules, where to stand, when to wait, how not to make trouble. Daytime rules. Adult rules. When Jordan Fields requested public records, the timestamps told a story no one wanted to read. Every warning arrived before dinner. Every dismissal followed by mourning. This wasn't a case of darkness hiding truth. It was a case of daylight being trusted too much. Stay, because the next detail came from a place everyone assumed was safe. Why did every timeline point to him? Yet the paperwork kept erasing his name. A public records window slides open. Dates line up. Names don't. Day 6 frustration turning sharp. Detective Aaron Holloway watched forms pass through the clerk's hands. Detective Maya Reynolds traced dates with a pen that never paused. The room felt busy, yet nothing moved forward. When systems stall, people disappear faster. Susan Miller's case was marked insufficient cause. Not because there was no trail, because the trail pointed somewhere uncomfortable. Dr. Natalie Brooks flagged the overlap. School schedules, volunteer rosters, event permits. Lucas Whitman's name appeared where permission lived, not where suspicion was allowed. Kayla vanished after a routine errand. No struggle. No witnesses alarmed. The pattern tightened without repeating itself. Different place, same window of trust. If access explains everything, who keeps granting it? Officer Thomas Keene remembered a hallway pass sign twice. Same handwriting. Different dates. That wasn't coincidence, it was continuity. Jordan Fields uncovered a chain of messages sent upward, then sideways, then nowhere. Each reply softened the language. Each delay hardened the outcome. Grace Whitman requested a meeting, quiet, urgent, and overdue. She didn't ask to protect him. She asked what would happen if she stopped protecting the system. This wasn't about when it happened. It was about who made it possible. Stay, because the next piece doesn't accuse a person. It exposes a permission slip. What happens when the truth depends on someone finally saying enough? A conference room door closing. One chair left empty. Day 9, moral tension. Detective Maya Reynolds laid out the files in a single line. Each one carried a different name. Every one pointed to the same kind of access. Silence doesn't protect people. It protects systems. Aaron Holloway requested authorization to narrow the focus. The response came back neutral, polite, and final. The case wasn't there yet. Grace Whitman didn't defend her brother. She described routines, who signed what, who approved events, who never questioned a familiar name. Her voice shook when she realized she was listing privileges, not coincidences. If everyone followed procedure, why did nothing stop him? Olivia added one sentence that changed the room. He never rushed. He waited for permission to already exist. Jordan Fields published the timeline without accusations. Parents recognized the pattern before authorities did. Calls came in not about suspects but about ignored warnings. A volunteer list quietly changed. Lucas Whitman's name vanished without explanation. No announcement. No accountability. Then a new document surfaced, signed years earlier, still active, still powerful. It didn't belong to Lucas. The story wasn't about obsession anymore. It was about who kept the door open. What if the most dangerous name wasn't the one everyone feared? A single signature highlighted on an approval form. Day 12 shocked clarity. Detective Aaron Holloway froze on the line where authorization met routine. Detective Maya Reynolds recognized it instantly. That signature kept appearing long after it should have expired. Power doesn't shout. It signs. The approval belonged to a supervisor who never met the girls. It granted access without oversight. It survived complaints, staff changes, and quiet warnings. If the system enabled everything, who would it sacrifice to protect itself? When the supervisor was asked to explain, the answer wasn't denial. It was fear. How far does control reach when no one questions it? Files stacked on a desk. A hand trembles as it lifts the top one. Day 15, tension mounting. Detective Maya Reynolds traced every approval, every schedule, every routine visit. Patterns emerged. Daytime visits, predictable windows, untouched routes. The girls' disappearances weren't random. They were mapped in plain sight. When oversight sleeps, danger walks openly. Olivia recalled one detail she hadn't shared. A folder Lucas carried to every activity, always clipped shut, never questioned. Susan Miller, Kayla Thompson, and the others followed schedules adults trusted. Every stop was public. Every route predictable. Every lapse unnoticed. If everything happened in daylight, why did the warnings fall on deaf ears? Grace admitted she noticed discrepancies but stayed silent. Fear of judgment, loyalty, and disbelief kept her words locked. And then the unthinkable surfaced. A document that confirmed someone above Lucas had known the pattern for months. The truth wasn't just in his obsession anymore. It was in the system that protected it. Who finally spoke up, and what did it cost them? A trembling hand lifts a pen over a confession form. Day 18, raw urgency. Detective Aaron Holloway waited as Grace Whitman's fingers hovered over a signed statement. Maya Reynolds leaned in, knowing this could change everything. The silence in the office felt louder than any shout. The weight of truth is unbearable until someone carries it. She detailed Lucas's routines, the daytime access, and every overlooked warning. Every detail aligned with Susan Miller and Kayla Thompson's disappearances. Olivia added the missing pieces, the subtle commands, the day-by-day control, the way adults unconsciously handed him authority. If everyone had seen the signs, why did no one stop him sooner? Detectives found an internal report hidden in plain sight, warnings filed months earlier, dismissed as routine. That paper made the system complicit. Lucas Whitman smiled when confronted. Not arrogance, calm calculation. But one detail he overlooked would unravel everything. The obsession was exposed, but the full cost had yet to be counted. Can justice survive when daylight hides the truth? Sunlight streaming through the office window, catching dust on uncovered files. Day 21, heart-wrenching finality. Detective Aaron Holloway read Grace Whitman's signed statement one last time. Every detail lined up with survivor testimonies, schedules, and overlooked warnings. Lucas Whitman's calm demeanor cracked. Just enough. The daylight that hid so much could not hide the weight of truth. Lucas was arrested mid-morning, surrounded by the brightness that had concealed his crimes. Susan Miller's father, Mr. Robert Miller, stood outside, fists clenched and tears streaming, knowing the system had failed his daughter. But at least now action came. Olivia Park and the families finally spoke publicly. Their voices were raw, honest, filled with grief, but also with strength. Every ignored warning, every daylight disappearance, became part of a record that could no longer be dismissed. Justice wasn't perfect. It was painful, delayed, and incomplete. But the victims' stories would no longer be invisible. Detective Maya Reynolds closed the last folder. Aaron Holloway stepped outside. The sun shone on the faces of survivors and families. A reminder that truth, though late, had finally arrived. Collision, subscribe to the Veil of Secret Collisions. Stay with us for more stories that uncover the hidden, expose injustice, and honor voices that demand to be heard. Painful, delayed, but real justice. Sometimes the daylight is the only witness you need.